And for me, particularly, this conversation is about how to create something lasting within our communities, where knowledge is shared, resources are accessible, and our businesses aren't just surviving, but setting new standards. And so we're talking about what it really means to build legacy. Not brands that don't just make noise, but ones that leave a mark, circulate within our communities, including our dollars, and sustain for generations. And so I really want to just start with something really simple but powerful. And I know you've been introduced in different ways, but I would love to know what legacy means to you in 3 words right now. I will start with Rodney, Barnett, founder of Innovations Today.
The next generation. And I'll explain what I mean when I say that.
Okay. 1.
3 words: impact, integrity, and inspiration.
Legacy today, pride, self-direction, and freedom.
See that right there is a moment right there for everybody just thinking about those words. And then for me, it's ownership, access, and community. Building community and spaces. Given that and the intention, inspiration, what does legacy mean to you in the context then of Black beauty? How do we build it beyond a trend or a hashtag or some next social movement that we're putting online? Anyone want to start with that one? Or
For me, it's about purpose. Taking a look at what we've done, what we're going, making sure the nexus between those two is a sense of permanence. It's a sense of permanence. So much of what's happening right now, they're trying to erase us. So we got to make sure that like our institutions, our successes, our celebrations, even our failures, such that the next generation can learn from, is there to learn from. So for me, legacy in the context of beauty space, so have that sense of institutional archival progress. We can go to reference into the uses direction. Just going back to history, the Underground Railroad, based on the legacy institution, people would follow roadmaps to take. And that's what we need in terms of the videos. We know about the wall, but about all the ones successes and failures, polarities, the lessons, the community, the I go back to the 60s. My mother would say, really buy, so bring all that in. That was
of that.
Well, some of you may know a little bit about me. I'm Autumn Yarbrough with New Standard, founder of one of the amazing products we have over here, Hydrosil, for the professional community. And I'm actually 3 generations, proudly. I am honored to be the granddaughter of Colonel Cottrell Jr. of Proline. I am honored to be the daughter of my mother that created Just For Me. So if you guys go way back with the Just For Me jingle, my mother believed there was a sensation and needing belonging. And she took that in from what she saw what her father did, providing access, right? So when you hit that 2nd generation, she knew she needed to do something that was missing, and that was belonging for young Black girls in beauty, period. Because that was something missing as me, being a young girl, wanting to feel beautiful. And then for me, again, it's always about being inspirational, doing something different. And it's about innovation. That's why we developed New Standard, setting a new standard by being innovative, but not just being innovative by products, but as a manufacturer and a brand, and not just in the Black community, but in the general market. And I say that because brands need to be more innovative in taking accountability when they make products. That piece is always missing, right? Taking accountability, being responsible of the products that you make that actually work, being responsible that even if the ingredient today is safe, we're doing the proper R&D that is safe 5 years from now. Making sure that you're committed to your mission, being a social impact company. Black-owned brands today, I would love, and we're one of those constantly driving our dollars back into the community. I was fortunate to see my grandfather give back to the community by saving Paul Plain College, which is an HBCU college. A lot of that's not being done, and we need to see more of that in order to continue the legacies of brands.
She's a perfect example when I use the word the next generation. This was the issue that I saw in the 80s. I worked with her grandfather and with the Proline team when they created, that was my role. My role was to test all the products before they actually left the plant in order to be able to go into stores to make sure that the quality was up to par. But Proline was just one of many Black companies during that particular time in the 80s. Now, when you think about the word legacy, what comes to mind? If you actually Google in the definition of legacy, legacy normally means money or property that's passed on to heirs. But it didn't mention businesses. Now, I guess you could call property, I guess you could label that as being businesses. But this was the issue, guys, that I saw. I came in the industry in 1980, and I was so thrilled to see all of the Black businesses that were being developed along with their grandfather. There was many other different, Black minds that were being, I think the 80s, there were more Black minds that were created than any other time. Johnson, of course, started it in the 60s, but in the 80s, there were so many other companies that were being developed. And yet, what was the problem? Why don't we see a lot of them around today? Because of not being able to pass it on to the next generation. That's the reason why I'm so proud of her. She's one of the few that came out of that. She knows what she said. It was passed on. How many others Black-owned businesses can honestly say that the business was passed on? The children were interested in the money that their parents and grandparents made. They wanted to spend that from what I saw. But as far as getting their hands involved with it and doing it and wanting to continue the legacy on, she's a living example of a person that wasn't just interested in only handing her hand out and wanting to spend money. But as you saw, she's keeping the legacy going. Doesn't make any difference what the name of it is. The very fact that she's still interested in the business. That's the reason why I said that's where I saw the dying of the Black brand, is because of not being able to pass it on to the next generation. No fault of the parents, no fault of the grandparents. Who is the fault lies with? The children.